Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Brother Sister Show. This is a different kind of episode. It feels I don't want to start off by promoting ourselves. So the first thing I'll say is, if you've read the title, I don't know what we're titling it, but I'm assuming it's going to be something about Texas, so you know what it's about. And if you read the description, we're going to put some links of places you can donate to, some resources that you can find to help, I guess, understand what happened in Texas, what you can do to help, steps for the future. I haven't found them yet, so I'm kind of just talking out of my ass, but we're going to find stuff to put into the description. And we just, I guess, to describe what we're going to be doing with this episode, we're just going to talk about, I had noticed that there was a really big lack in, because there was so much resources being shared, at least within Texas, and it felt like they were all on the news was just about what was happening and about Ted Cruz and how he fled to Mexico.
Wow.
And nobody was really talking about what, on the individual level, what it was like to go through it. So me and Anthony wanted to just talk a little bit about what we experienced, and then hopefully give you some insight into some of our listeners, some people that we've asked to give details to what happened to them, so we can, I don't know, I guess just give awareness to what happened and give you names to the suffering that Texas as a whole has been feeling the past couple of days.
Shit went down. And yeah. I don't want, because you'll hear my experience wasn't that bad.
Mine wasn't either.
And a lot of people, some people froze to death. A lot of homeless people suffered. Even in my complex.
Homes.
Yeah, a lot of people suffered. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you want to start with? Well, what should we start with? We haven't structured anything for this, but I guess we can talk about first what we personally experienced.
Yeah, let's do that.
How was your? I mean, this is a disclaimer: is that this is going to be it's not going to be a good retelling, because I think hopefully the people listening that are in Texas can also relate to the fact that it's been an absolute blur of.
It really has been.
And I had to keep reminding myself what day it was. Yeah,
Kayla I forgot what we were talking about, but she was like, I'm so ready for the weekend tomorrow. And I was like, tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. This is Wednesday. Something like that. Yeah, it just hit us all so fast. It was the beginning of the week too.
So how was it for you?
Yeah, let me get started. Mine wasn't that bad. It was a lot of fun. I had some fun with it. You'll hear why. So I guess to start, this all happened maybe Monday. I don't really remember. Yeah, Monday night. So we hadn't lost power first. That was the first thing to go was our power. And we just started having rolling blackouts. So
y'all's actually did happen.
No, yeah, we legit had rolling blackouts for a majority of the time.
Oh,
so we had a routine where it would go out, we'd light all of our candles, because it was during nighttime. So, and if it wasn't Monday night, it was the rest of the nights, because I can't remember if Monday night we might have woken up Tuesday and not had power.
I think I remember you texting that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess Tuesday morning we woke up, didn't have power, and that was, or it might have been, it was rolling actually. And and my main concern was with our food, because we had just gotten groceries, because I'm taking a weather and climate class.
Are you really?
I don't know. I am. It's really funny. And at Mo 201. Shout out.
That's hilarious.
And I hate that class so much. I hate that class so much.
Better pay the fuck attention now.
Yeah, I'm actually, he's yeah, okay, so the first thing is my professor gave us a warning. and he was like, this is gonna happen. This is gonna be real. Some of you are gonna
Oh,
be
wow.
probably displaced. Like he predicted a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
In an
Thanks for not
email.
telling us anything, asshole.
No, this was like maybe Monday night. I woke up to the email. It wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't a prophet. Whatever.
Mm. He was like, I'm gonna
Let me just.
predict there's gonna be 2 feet.
So I remember reading that email. But even before that, I remember Kayla said that it's gonna snow on Monday or Tuesday. And that it was gonna be kind of bad. So we got groceries that weekend, maybe Saturday, Sunday. I can't really remember. So that was the main thing I was worried about was our food because we had
Mhm.
spent so much money, like a good amount, enough to last us longer than we normally shop for. And I kind of like splurge, normally I don't, Kayla doesn't like that I do this, but sometimes I'm like, I want Pop Tarts, but I'm not going to get Pop Tarts because I don't really need Pop Tarts just
I
to
do
like
that all
save
the
money
time
or
too.
whatever. So I like splurged a little, I was like, you know what? We're going to get 2 grapes, one to freeze, one to keep in the fridge, you
What?
know? Yeah. Like I kind of splurged a little
Um,
because, treat yourself. Why not? So I was upset about that. Like, not upset, but worried about our groceries. But we had rolling blackouts, like I said. So we had just kept the fridge closed. And
were you doing
yeah.
like what I saw this one? The memes. Okay, so the only funny memes were the ones that people in Texas were making. Like I
Oh,
saw somebody that was like, "This rolling blackouts has me making meals like I'm on fucking Hell's Kitchen or something."
yeah. I mean, that's
Like,
kind of what it
time? Can I have
was.
the time?
The
Laugh
scary
through the
part is
pain.
is you didn't know when it was going to go out. You had no
Yeah,
idea. I
yeah.
so uh that
Ugh.
first day, Tuesday, not or Tuesday, pretty much all day, I just had sandwiches because one, it's easy to make, and
Mhm.
two, the only thing I really use out of the fridge are just like the main part, the turkey. We
Yeah, the
have
meat and
turkey
cheese.
and cheese. So and for sides, you just use chips, whatever,
Yeah.
other stuff. So that was fine. And it wasn't till either Wednesday. I think it was when we woke up on Wednesday. We just didn't have power whatsoever.
Mm.
Um, so that was like kind of scary because, like I said, the only thing I was really worried about was the food because I spent so much money on it. We later discovered. Actually, Dad said that we could potentially claim it on our renter's insurance, but
Mhm. Up to
everything turned out fine.
$500.
Yeah. Uh, so it got we lost power maybe Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. and it was around 4 that I was getting real antsy, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this
Mm.
food. And then Kayla was like, well, let's use the snow. And I'd seen it on Twitter. I had seen people saying to just like go outside, bury your stuff in the snow, and you said that too.
So they do it. That's
Meanwhile,
why I learned that from Alaska, but they do in Alaska, they what they do, like, what I don't know what who would do this, but the snow would be like so high that you would have to bury to a certain, like, to down to the ice, because there's like levels of snow and then ice and then the ground. And so there's
oh
like a way you have to, that's how they people basically make refrigerators out of ice and
yeah,
snow up there.
well, so that's what we did.
Yeah.
First, I had an idea just to keep it inside because I didn't want anyone to steal it. So I was like, I'll just bring snow in, put everything in the tub. But I was like, that's kind of
Mm.
stupid.
Ah,
So
people were doing that.
we have a patio. So what we did was me and my roommate Chris, we went outside, bought 2 mini trash cans, and he had a bucket. So we just like scooped a bunch of ice and we put it on our patio. So we laid down a trash bag, cut in half, and just laid it out. Put all of our stuff inside of trash bags and laid it all out and just started covering it with snow. Oh my gosh. There was a maintenance people walking by asking, because I learned at this time I had learned that people's water heaters were breaking. So like all this
Yeah.
water damage was happening in all these other buildings in my complex. So I started getting a little scared because the water heater shares a wall with where like my desk, Kayla and I's desk.
Is that why you moved your room?
Yeah, that's why we moved. Because so we covered the snow, and this dude comes up. He's eating a bowl of cereal, like probably from the north. He's like has shorts on, he has like a hoodie on, and he's like, "So what are you guys doing?" And I'm like,
Oh my
"We're just
God.
covering our our groceries because we haven't had power since 8 this morning. This is maybe like 4 or 5." And he's like, "Oh, it's supposed to snow again tonight." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You probably don't need to do that." I was like, "Whatever, dude. I'm just trying to protect my groceries. Just go do whatever
Why
you're doing."
would you not be able to? What would
I
that
don't know.
doesn't make any sense?
I
Yeah.
think because we were scooping snow. He was just like, "Well, it's gonna snow anytime because we're on the first floor. Whatever." So we did that, and our groceries ended up being fine. I cooked
That's good.
breakfast today with our eggs. That was the main thing that Kayla and I were worried about, was the eggs, but everything was fine with our food. I think that same night we lost. No, we didn't lose water. I think because of the water damage, um, in the units next to us, they had temporarily shut off the water.
Yeah.
So we just took a quick shower, just because we hadn't showered in a while because it was dark. Um, and I can't remember if this was. I think no, yeah. Tuesday night, the first night after the rolling blackouts, we started playing hide and seek because it was like dark.
Oh my
And
God.
we're children. So we got some of our candles, and the three of us would hide, and there would be one seeker who would have the candle and would go and search for the people. So it's kind of
Oh
like a
my
scary.
God.
I got some footage because we had some flashlights,
Hmm.
and it's pretty scary, pretty spooky in our apartment. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that footage. I think I just recorded it, maybe a documentary or something. But yeah, because the water heater had broken or cracked in so many other places, um, I was scared for our desk. So I came up with
Mm.
a plan to rearrange our room, and we did that. And it was kind of scary because we started doing it kind of late. It was like already getting dark, and this is when we didn't have power whatsoever. Kayla's like, "We'll just wait till tomorrow or whenever we have power." I was like, "No, we have to do this now." So I was like
I'm
moving the bed by myself. It
Kayla
was
and Smash
funny.
need to have like a weekly call because this is sounding a lot like how I was.
It's so funny. Well, because it's funny because I never want to rearrange the room. Kayla's always coming up with, like, we've rearranged. This is like maybe our third time, and the first two were Kayla's idea, but they were always at convenient times. Mine was at the most inconvenient.
You're like, it's 2 a.m. We don't have any power and it's 30 degrees, but we need to do this.
No, I mean that's the lucky thing. We never got super cold.
Oh, that's
Um,
good. Well, it's good that it's good and bad, but the good thing is that your room doesn't have any windows, right?
it has one window, but what
Oh,
we
okay.
did Monday night is I took a towel and I just covered the bottom part of it.
Well, do you see
Um,
the
yeah,
blanket that I hammered this to the wall?
really?
Yeah. It's
Wow,
Sebastian. I almost took it down last night, but Sebastian's like, oh, it's a vibe. Keep it.
it is.
It does keep the room really warm.
That's good. Well, our roommates would just like chill in here whenever the power was off, and we'd just be on our phones looking at social
Well, that's good.
media. So like all of our hot ass breaths were keeping everything warm,
Yeah.
But that was also a thing that we struggled with, is because we didn't have any like cell reception. Kayla was the only one who could text people or call people or do anything with her phone because
Mm.
she has. Well, I don't want to dox you. We have Kayla is the only one who has a different carrier. Me and my
Why
other
would it be
roommates have the same
doxing?
because they know our names and they know our
Oh, okay.
carrier. Don't even worry about it. I got this.
Okay.
Protecting
I
privacy.
thought you just didn't want to say she had like cricket or something.
Kayla doesn't have Cricket Mobile. No,
Mint
it's privacy.
Mobile? That's fine.
But yeah, so like whenever the power would come on, it would take like 10 to 15 minutes for the internet to get back or the cell reception to get even close to even looking at stuff. So it was we were really living like Amish people.
Yeah, but you still had time to tweet your stupid tweet.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of time to think about some tweets.
You had pretty good ones. The Talkies one was pretty good.
Oh man. So okay, so this was kind of towards the end of the week. We got power back, and yeah, I think that was like our main thing. We got power back, but our water was running real low, like our drinking water, and College Station water is disgusting, even despite of everything happening. It's just gross. So we tried to make we went to Sam's and got some water. And we also went to HEB before that. And that's when I saw the glorious, it's like straight from, I don't know. I don't even know.
Also,
no one wanted Takis.
But when you're in an emergency, who wants Takis?
I grabbed some.
I know, but how embarrassing is it when like to have the kind of shits that Takis gives you to have to like you had to like manually add water to your toilet. Just imagine how humiliating that would be.
It's so degrading to see it as you pour the water.
Yeah, to know what you just did. So I get it. I get why people didn't buy the Takis. I also just don't like Takis.
Yeah, I had a couple bangers. I had the Aggie engineering showing me covering my snow or the groceries. The other one, Kayla kind of pushed me. She kind of created it. Is the no wonder people created religion. Life is boring,
That's a good one, yeah.
Life without electricity is boring as hell. Something like that. That was Kayla's.
You could have been like, I could have written the Bible right now.
I could have written the Bible. That's funny. And then the best thing that came from all of this, so those are a lot of negatives, like not knowing because you guys are so far from me, so I can't really do anything to help. Just like checking in with you guys constantly, my friends too. We basically had a spring break, like because of I don't even know why our university was like, yeah, y'all are not getting a spring break.
Oh, because they don't want people to. Oh.
Yeah, keep on going. Sorry.
I think because they didn't want people to feel the need to like party.
Well, that and to leave, to just leave the state and potentially bring COVID.
Go to Cancun.
That's the title of this. We're going to Cancun. Man, what a guy.
My cat told me that he wanted to go to Cancun last night, so I needed to be a good mother.
Had to do it. I can't even believe that. So we basically got a spring break. It just came early because we got an email maybe yesterday, a day ago, that essentially our final exam dates aren't being pushed back. Like the semester is ending as planned. And no assignments due until next Thursday, the 28th. So I'm chilling. And until then, it kind of kicked the semester off, or not kicked it off, but it set a weird break in the semester. But I'm just glad everyone's okay. That I know.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the stressful things. Is that I was thinking about it this week, and I think almost every single, except for like one or two, but almost every single like family member and friend that I have lives in Texas. So like all of us, almost everybody I know I was like, I've never texted so many people in my life. I'm really bad at texting, but this is like, yeah.
And the thing is, it was hard to text. I don't know how it was for you, but I barely text you guys.
Oh, because of the power or
Yeah.
your cell service. Well, is that? Do you want me to go on to my experience? Do you have anything
Yeah,
else?
yeah, go. I've taken too much time.
Oh, that's okay.
That's pretty much it.
Um, so mine also, I do feel very lucky. Um, and you'll see why because of my story. But Monday night was fine. I think I didn't realize something was actually wrong. Well, first of all, I do have a picture. I was looking at pictures that I sent one of my friends that lives in LA, like one of my friends that doesn't live in Texas, where I sent her like pictures when me and Sebastian were taking out our trash.
Hmm.
And the amount of snow was insane. And that was the first time I'd been out like the entire day. And I told Sebastian, I haven't seen this much snow. And the way that like it looked when I was, and it felt when we were walking through it, I hadn't felt that since Alaska, since we lived in Alaska. I don't know if we've said this on the podcast, but we've lived in Alaska.
Yeah.
But that's the amount of like my foot was going into like the my boot was going into the snow. Like it was
Yeah.
insane. And oh, no, that didn't even start it. Sorry. Let's go back to or Sunday because we were supposed to go get groceries on Saturday, but then I was like, Sebastian was out because he had to work. And so I was like, we'll just go on Sunday. Big mistake because as soon as we got outside when we were going to go get groceries, I almost busted my ass. Like it was so icy. And I
Very
was so
icy.
scared though, because I was like, I mean, the thing about Texas that we'll learn or that we've learned is that it's obviously not built for whatever happened this week. And one of the things is our cars are not built for that because I mean, something that I have a little bit of knowledge from living in Alaska has helped me where I know that you need specific tires. And maybe people know this and I'm just dumb, but I know that you need studded, I think they're called studded wheels, right? To be able to drive in ice and be like safe. So I was super nervous about that. Sebastian went and he got groceries and he went to Target. Usually like that's usually where I go because I know like as soon as a disaster hits everybody goes to HB. So I told Sebastian let's go to Target. And so we got stuff and I didn't the theme that I want to talk about is the fact that nobody fucking told us it was going to be this bad. I feel I had no idea what we were getting into because the just by looking at the groceries we got so much
Yeah.
frozen food, we got ice cream, like that
I mean,
I would have never if it yeah, I would have never have done that or I would have never
I,
waited until Sunday.
I bet you wish you took a weather and climate class now, didn't
It
you?
didn't even fucking help you, did it? Oh no, you got groceries.
We
But
didn't get a
yeah,
lot of non-perishable stuff. That's one thing we regret.
yeah, that's what I mean is
Yeah.
that I mean, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I would have gotten more like I got peanut butter, thank God. But like, cans of soup, like but not even just I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to sound like a good person, but like I would have gotten stuff like so that we could donate it or just in case somebody in our building didn't get stuff, I would have like stocked up on some stuff. And so, because we have whatever. And I just I felt so dumb that we didn't get stuff. I just was so upset at myself. And then Monday happened and I didn't realize like I said, this was the day that I realized something was going down because of how much snow was outside when I walked outside. I was like, this feels like I've never seen this much snow.
Yeah.
And so and then we were like, whatever, like it might melt. And I was kind of nervous about Sebastian going to work. Because I was like, oh, it might be icy, whatever. That night, I think or no, I think in the morning, that's when they told us that Sebastian's not going to work. And I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Or maybe it was Tuesday. I don't know. But the moment I thought, and the second moment that I was like, fuck, something's happening, is when I was at work and one of my friends said that or I think she said, or somebody, a bunch of people at work were like, oh, we can't, like, or our manager was like, so a lot of people can't come in because their power is out. And I was like, ooh,
Oh,
what's
damn.
going on? And so all of that happened. I worked throughout Tuesday, but it was kind of hard to like work. And then I think Tuesday night, my days are all messed up. But I think Tuesday, the big thing that happened was I had like kind of a panic attack. I mean, I'm fine. I have them not all the time, but I have them pretty often. So I was fine. But the thing after, like, it was kind of comical how like two things happened this week that are pretty, like, it's pretty funny, the timing. Cause I did that. Like, I had a whole freak out. And then I like, Sebastian helped me calm down and we were like, okay, let's make dinner. And we started making dinner and our fire alarm went off.
Oh
Like
shit.
building wide, it went off.
Right.
And it freaks me out because Ari gets like really scared and I don't know if I should be leaving, if it, like, I didn't know what was happening. And we knew, like I said, I was starting to panic because all this stuff was happening. Uh, like, when I get something in my head, I think it's going to happen to me. So I get like really panicked. Like
Right.
I told him we need to try, like I kept asking Sebastian, did you charge your phone? Like constantly what percentage is your phone on? That kind of stuff. So we found out the reason that the alarm was going off was because they were flooding, or not flooding. The maintenance was draining the water in our sprinkler system. Do you guys have a sprinkler system in your apartment?
Yeah. It was also right above our desk.
Yeah, ours.
Go ahead.
Oh, I know. Ours is like, there's one in every room, but ours is over there.
Yeah.
Um Anyway, so they were draining that. And I was like, why are they draining it? And why didn't they tell? I was just so pissed. I was like the most upset I've been in a long time. And Sebastian found out, oh no, I found out that it's because they were draining our system. It wasn't supposed to go off. The maintenance guy, I think he was kind of panicked or he forgot that he was supposed to do this, but you're supposed to turn off a switch so that when you drain it, the alarm doesn't go off, but he forgot how to do that. And then he didn't know how to switch it on. Like Sebastian said, he had his phone and he was like trying to figure it out. So that was just an entire mess. He did it on
Nice.
accident. So like, whatever.
Gotcha.
But the reason they did that was because in two other buildings in our apartment like complex, the drain or the sprinkler system had busted. So like
Oh
so
wow.
many, like a bunch of apartments were getting flooded. And I think there was a couple that are like they were flooded a ton, and others that were just, I guess, because they were beneath them or whatever. So they decided, the fire department told them, just drain all of the sprinklers because if you don't, they might all just bust. Because,
You're right.
I mean, I'm sure people know this, but sprinkler systems, it's just still water. Like that's why they tell you to drip your faucets, because it'll stop your pipes from freezing because water is constantly running. Even if it's a small drip, it's still running through it. But sprinklers, because it just sits there, there's no way to do that. So they just, when it freezes, it expands and it busts all the pipes. And it happens
Damn.
in Texas because they don't insulate the pipes because they don't have to, because it never gets below
'Cause
freezing until
it
this
never
week.
does this.
Exactly.
There's a lot of
I'm learning.
firsts.
I'm learning so much about vaccines, about about elections, about weather. I'm starting learning so much this past
Well, cold
year.
restricts. You said it expands. It restricts. I just want to clarify.
No, I think
Another learning.
when it freezes, it expands. It expands the pipes. Look it up. Anyways,
Fair enough.
so that happened, and so obviously, like you said, I heard that one pipe busted. So I told Sebastian all of ours are gonna bust, and so I was like, I was so paranoid about that because
Yeah.
like they said, once, I mean, I've been, I think I've talked about this before, but I've been in a dorm that had this happen, but it was due to like it actually setting off. But I know how long it takes to get somebody to shut stuff off. So if it flooded, I mean, there is technically still a chance that this happens, but if it does, it could potentially ruin like everything that we own. And the scary thing though is that, I mean, you can replace shit, so I'm not too concerned about that. Obviously my cat, but I can handle that. The third thing is, where the fuck are we going to go? Because at this time on Tuesday, it was freezing so much that the roads were basically inoperable. They didn't
Yeah.
salt them because they were like, you guys have to stay home. Like it was a disaster. And that was the same day that 700 people, I think they said that fire department usually gets like 10 calls a day, but they got 700 calls that day just about burst pipes. And
Yeah.
so
That's wild.
it just like all of this, it was the biggest thing was the unbearable amount of stress that I had. Even if I put it on myself, I was so fucking stressed. And and then this is the same day that I think it was the same day that um that they told us stop dripping your pipes because it's using a ton of water, because everybody's doing it because they don't want our pipes to burst. But then it was like a give and take of, am I an asshole for doing it? But if I don't, then my pipes will burst and it'll like waste so much more water. So like,
Yeah.
what do you do? So the next thing, and the next morning is when the power went out. And so our power went out at like 11:40ish, and that's when like we got into action. Like Sebastian, he had to go check the cars because you're all supposed to start your car for at least a
Yeah.
minute every day. And so he was like doing that for our cars. And that's almost the thing that was comical about that is that I sent in our group chat at work. I was telling people, like, I was like spamming the shit out of our chat, just like sending information, like trying to do my part. And
Yeah.
I told them, hey guys, we still have power and water. So if you guys like, if somebody wants to come over to warm up or to just charge your phone, just let us know and you can come over. And I asked Sebastian, he was like, yeah, send it. I sent it and our power went out, like not even kidding, that exact minute. As soon as I sent it, our power went out.
They said no. Doof.
Yeah, Austin was like, no, you will not
Wow.
have people in your fucking house. And so the thing though that we're lucky about, I mean, I obviously panicked. So I gathered everything. I put like all of our candles in one room. I put Ari in the closet. He has a little nook that he likes. I hammered a fucking blanket to our window.
Yeah.
I went into stealth mode. Like I was doing like, and and then I think after like it was like at 1 o'clock that same day, our power went back on and it hasn't gone off yet, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
like I
gosh.
said, but that was, I'm glad you brought up the like fear of not knowing how long you like. I was convinced that it was just going to go off again,
Oh
because what I
yeah.
had heard at that moment was that that they can't just turn on people's power, that they were going to instead switch it so that the people that had power this whole time, like the 2 days, they would lose power and the people that didn't have power would gain power. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they would just switch
Yeah.
it. And I had friends this whole time, I was talking to friends where I think there was two of my friends that hadn't had power. And so I was like, okay, like I mean, I was panicking a little bit, but I was like, oh, but at least if this means they get power, then like that's fine. But it, like I said, up until now, we've been fine. But I
Yeah.
know it's gonna
That's
get cold again tonight, so I don't want to talk too soon.
that, that's so
Um,
funny. Speaking of that, every time, because it was like during that rolling blackout period, Kayla would be like, "Wow, we've had power for quite a long time." It was doof. And it would get
yeah,
so quiet because like everything is gone. It's the emergency light that's always on. It's out. It's like every single time. I could feel that Kayla was about to say that. I'd say stop. Just stop right there. Stop.
I know. And Sebastian and I were about to. I think we were about to take a shower, but then I was like, "Oh, I think I told him like, well, let me send this message real quick." So I like stopped us from taking a shower. But then,
I
like
mean,
I
you could
said, it
do it
went
in
back
the
on.
dark. Just
But
a little
it was
scary.
just funny, yeah, but it was just so funny that I was like, fuck, we didn't even take, or no, that was the thing too, is that I let Sebastian sleep in and I was like, oh, I'll make our lunch for the day. Cause what our plan was is like I said, we didn't know when our power is going to go out. And we had like 3 pizzas. I don't know why we bought 3 pizzas, but I'm glad we did. And so what we had been doing, our plan was to just cook it in the morning. And then, I
Right.
mean, room temp pizza is fine. So we were just going
Yeah.
to like cut it and then whatever. We didn't make the pizza. And I was like, I was like, fuck, we didn't make the fucking pizza. I was pissed at myself. And then the power went on.
That was
So
good.
then after the power came back on, sorry, I'm frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. The video is kind of weird, but I'll keep going. So after that, the next thing that happened was that our water went out. And I got scared because I thought it meant that our pipes were freezing. And like I said before, that was my big fear. And
Yeah.
so I called our apartment complex and I was like, hey, just making sure that this is like a citywide thing or a community wide thing. And it was. Um, but again, the paranoia and anxiety helped me out because the morning before, when I heard that some people's water was going out, I panicked and I told Sebastian, fill everything. And so I got like all of our
Yeah.
water bottles and all of our pitchers. I filled them all with water. And then I filled our bathtub with water too.
Yeah.
And
That's what we did.
yeah, and I was so glad I did that because the next day is when the water went out. Um, and then the water had been out, I think a day and a half or something. No, 2 days maybe because yesterday yesterday in the morning is when I hit my low of where I like I bathed myself with cottonelle wipes.
Oh, that's degrading.
Yeah, but like what are you going
Yeah,
to
you got to do what you
do?
got to do. I mean,
and And I want to say too, so we have had we try, like I said, we've tried our best to conserve everything. Conserve water, conserve like I think I'd taken like one shower this week before today before our
yeah.
power or before our water came back on. Um and we like same thing with electricity. I mean, I don't want to be like a woe is me person because like I still had power, so it still is not that bad. But it was at 68, so it was still like super cold in here.
Oh,
Um,
I forgot when we lost our power, we were at like 53, but it didn't even feel like it. We were like, oh shit, it's 53 degrees in here, and then we turned on the heater.
dude, there was that some people that I know that they said when they were in their house that they could see their breath. That's how cold it was.
Yeah, it hit. I
That's
know
like
it
more
hit
in the Dallas
40s and 30s, but wow.
area. Holy shit. So that's why I'm saying like mine is not that bad, but it's still like even for those people that were doing their part in trying to conserve everything, it still was kind of rough. Especially I mean
Yeah,
it's 68 in here, but it's fucking cold outside and I sleep next to a fucking window, so like that probably made it worse, but
yeah, wow.
yeah, and it just felt and I guess that's kind of the end of my like I said, water came on like today at like 1. But I took a quick shower. The water pressure's not great.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it's
but
like someone
we
spitting on you.
also, yeah, kind of. But they also want us to conserve for more people, obviously. So I've been like, just we haven't washed dishes or clothes. We haven't done really anything.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that's what we went through. Like we said, I mean, I don't want to minimize because I'm sure a lot of people have gone through the same thing. But
oh
it's
yeah.
still, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about your feelings, but it like at least for me today is a very if for my fast talking, you can probably tell that I'm doing better today, but I it was for a couple of days it was rough. Like I kind of I hadn't felt that hopeless and that depressed in a long time. It was kind of scary.
It's scary because uh just learning about the Texas power grid, like I had never
Oh my
known about
god.
that before. I never needed to know about that. But it's
Mhm.
just like get over yourself. Just do it, bro. like
And then
this would
compounded with I keep saying compounded, but like also added with the fact that people were basically blaming us for it. You know, like it
yeah,
felt
that's
like we
weird.
the thing I keep saying is that it did truly feel like we were on our own. Like I at least at work, like I said, I've been trying to like be the person to give resources to I kept telling people to tell their story. Like that's why we're doing this because I really want that for people. And I didn't realize how exhausting that was. And I felt like I was doing like me and my like friends and people I know and the people online that I was seeing donating. It felt like it was like a crowdsourced thing. And it was the only thing that was keeping us going was the community, which
Yeah.
in a way is beautiful, but in another way is fucking scary. Cause like why are we abandoned in this? Like why I don't know. It
Yeah.
felt it there was a moment like 2 days ago that I do specifically remember where I was like I mean, I know weather changes, so this sounds stupid, but I was like, I don't know if this ever is gonna get better. Like, I just
Oh no,
feel it
it's
felt
only
like
worse from here.
that. Yeah, doesn't that isn't that what it felt like?
Oh yeah, I mean this is just like global warming in the freaking face. I saw this tweet. It was
Yeah.
Ted Cruz's tweet in like 2018. He was like, "I'll believe climate change when Texas freezes over." It's like one of the worst, poorly timed
And it did.
tweets of all time. I mean, that's climate change right there. Like, there's
But
no doubting it.
exactly. And like I think yeah, I don't know. It as somebody who has been diagnosed with, I guess I'll get personal, but has been diagnosed with depression, like this hasn't I haven't felt that low in a very long time. And so that's what worried me the most is I was like, even if we get out of this, even if we get out of this, I don't know if I'll get out of this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like this, just the
Yeah.
hopelessness of like, I don't even, who even fucking cares anymore? Like, but I'm out of it
Texas
now.
Texas was on their own for a little bit. They
It
we
was
just
so
built different.
scary. Yeah. Truly, we're not built for fucking freezing temperatures. And
No,
just like
not
seeing
at
the
all.
people that I know, I mean, thank God, like at least our family, from what I can understand, because I've, like I said, I've been in contact with certain people, but like our family's been, was pretty lucky, but like a lot of people I know, it was really sad. Like it just made, and like you said, like it's one thing for like my friend that lives in California to be like, well, I don't know if I can't do anything. And I'm like, yeah, I know you can't. Like, it's not a big deal. But it's another thing for my friend that lives literally like 20 minutes away and doesn't have power and doesn't have, and is like, it has to heat herself up with a gas stove. Like that, not being able to do anything in that scenario, that I think is what really fucked with me.
Yeah. Especially because at that point you're like you're putting yourself in danger because you don't want to be doing that. I mean, I'm lucky to have Kayla in the fact that when we needed to go get stuff, we had her Jeep four-wheel drive. Just that was kind of scary driving in that. I'd never really driven a four-wheel drive vehicle or a car in four-wheel drive, but yeah, I'm glad everyone's okay. It's gonna there'll be lasting effects of this, but we'll make it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw my tweet where I was like, I just can't wait for the storm to pass so I can have my panic attack in peace.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been,
Amen.
yeah, but that's the thing that I don't want to, I'm very quick, at least to myself, to, I don't take my advice where I'm very quick where to myself that next week I think I'll be like, oh, but like, that you're at, it's fine now. You know, it feels like I feel dumb for even for saying that I felt so hopeless in the middle of the week. I feel dumb saying that now because like I'm fine. But
Yeah,
I feel like there's also not even, we haven't even mentioned the fact that COVID is still a thing and that is happening
yeah.
right now.
Oh,
And
yeah, when
it's,
you said you invited people over, I was like, make sure they wear masks.
oh yeah, of course. Well, I was just gonna
No,
stay in this room and I'd like let them do their thing.
no, yeah. I mean,
But
so
but that's
much
the
is
thing
still
is
happening.
that I didn't care. Like I was like I don't even like for me I've been so like I can't go anywhere, nobody's coming over, but even in that situation I was like I'll have like literally 100 people come through because if not they're going to fucking die. Like it just felt it felt so I just feel like I'm going to be working through this trauma for a long time.
Yeah, I think Austin especially got it a lot worse than I did because I got power and water a lot quicker. I think because I'm in a smaller city. I think Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio got hit a lot harder because there's so many freaking
Yeah.
people. So
Well, and also another thing I guess that we can touch on is that I didn't realize the how much the location benefited me. For one, I know economically like the thing that was really fucked up too is that the places that were consistently losing power and didn't have it for a while were poorer neighborhoods. And because they kept saying that they're, they don't know, they're going to do rotating outages or whatever, but they basically, oh, sorry, I burped into mic. They basically just turned off the power for all the poor neighborhoods and then didn't turn it back on. And they were telling people they were like basic, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but like they were basically yelling at us to like unplug your fucking TV, unplug everything, put it at 68. I don't care if you fucking freeze. But then the mansions in downtown, well, just keep it. I mean, they can have it. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, there's
are you fucking kidding me? The
the
people that I
skylines.
just, oh my God. Oof. Okay. So yeah. So weird. I think we're lucky in that way, but it just made me so, like, in the people that don't have, like, the houseless people, the population, I was so terrified for them because, like, what the fuck are they gonna do? Like, yeah. And I think we got lucky too because we live next to a fire station. So there's a lot of things
Mm.
that, like, a lot of privileges that we had that we um could take advantage of, I guess. But like I just read about a story. I don't know. I think it was in Houston where a kid. Yeah, it's in Houston where a kid, 11-year-old kid, died because he basically froze to death,
Wow,
and his family lived in a mobile home.
that
And I mean,
sucks.
if you think that if my apartment has bad insulation, I can't even imagine the kind of insulation a
Yeah.
Texas mobile home has. And the fact
Wow.
that it just feels really, I mean, that's the only story that like resonated with me, but we won't know exactly how many people died for a while, I think.
Yeah.
But just to know that that kid froze to death in Texas when like that is, I mean, COVID feels like something that's preventable, but we have to go back like years, I guess, or like months to be able to pinpoint that. But his death could have been prevented very easily. And it's the young kids, there's elderly people that somebody, like, I think there was one, like a veteran in San Antonio, I think, that nobody, like, he wasn't, they found him that way because nobody checked on him.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see how it is tomorrow. We're gonna try to go get groceries tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
I'm fine for now. How are you, Anthony?
Doing good. I mean, we got groceries for like probably another week or two. Like we got a lot. Probably not 2 week and a half. So chilling here. They're probably gonna shut off the water tonight because of the water damage that the other units in my building have. But I showered today, so we're chilling. Just trying to get back in the school groove because I'm in that spring break mentality now. So
Yeah, I had a lot of stuff that I had to push back, and like I felt, that's another thing, I
yeah.
felt dumb. I was so stressed out that I pushed back therapy. Like how, like that's, I was so exhausted, like emotionally
I
exhausted.
can't even
I
begin.
literally texted my therapist. I was like, I told her I'm really tired. I can't talk about my feelings right now.
I think you tweeted that too. You said, "I'm so tired."
Yeah,
That was
but
funny.
I truly was like, I don't, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that I have to unpack a lot of things because I'm sure it has to do with like COVID, just being stressed. Like we went through, that's the thing that Texas people need to realize. We went through a natural disaster during a global pandemic. Just just let that rattle on your brain for a
Nice,
moment.
dude. Check
I
that
mean,
off your
that's not, I
bingo
don't know if that's a
card.
point of pride. I'm just saying that, like,
No, no.
I feel like there's, and you know how, I don't want to generalize Texans, but like, at least the Texans I know and how I am, is we're not good at doing that. We're not good at, we're just like, okay, but we'll just like move on.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like how HEB, I just saw a message of HEB where they're like, we'll be restocked on Monday. And I was going to say, like, you can take a break. Like, it's okay. But
Scary.
yeah.
And now we're gonna hear from some of you people who contacted us and told us your stories. We're gonna tell your story.
Okay, so now we're going to read a couple of stories that our listeners sent in, our Texas listeners sent in. We did ask on, I think it was on our Instagram, we reached out to a couple of people that we know that went through certain things, and we wanted to get I guess we just asked them, like, just tell us your experience. So we have three experiences of people, like, varying degrees of what they went through. But I think, like we said before in the beginning of this episode, that it's just important for everybody who is able to share what happened to them, so that people that didn't go through it can have a little bit of a better idea of what happened. And I mean, us too, because
All right.
I think all three of these are very different from what we experienced.
Yeah.
All right. So this first one is from a listener in Fort Worth, Texas. And I'll just read it. As my husband and I woke up at 8 a.m. on Monday, the 15th, we realized we didn't have power. I immediately thought, what will we eat for breakfast? I was extremely grateful for my grocery run the day before, knowing that the weather was about to be too icy to drive. Grocery stores already look like pre-COVID long lines, tired employees, and people buying way more than they need, leaving the shelves empty. Cereal could work, I thought. Our fridge had no power, but thank goodness it was cold enough inside to keep my milk cold. Wearing gloves and doubling my socks inside to keep warm. But hey, my milk didn't spoil. How excellent. Sarcasm. My husband and I realized we would get power at around 11:30 a.m., so we prepped. What do we need to cook now that will last us a few days, just in case power goes out again? Well, we waited and waited and waited, and the power never came. The jackets piled on, and our noses grew more red. At around 3:33 or 3:30 p.m., sorry, I'm like making up a random time, my sister in Arlington calls and says, "Hey, it's getting bad. We're lucky enough to still have water and power. Come over." My husband and I take some time to think about this. All these thoughts run through our head. We have other family in Fort Worth without power. Let's take them too. Should we take all our food so it doesn't spoil? Should we leave the faucets dripping or don't? Which tweet do I listen to? Which news source is giving us accurate information? And we can't forget all of our new puppy stuff. How long will the food we have for him last? Okay, let's just go. We'll drive really slow. Fast forward, and we're at my sister's, living comfortably while the world around us seems to suffer. Honesty hour, this seems to be a trend with my family. We seem to always be the lucky ones. We all survived COVID. We all have power and water, phones charged, bodies bathed, water and food on the table, and even had time to make new recipes, all while others die, starve, or suffer. I'm a school social worker, so I feel empathy a little too well. I constantly question why my family stays untouched in times of adversity, why things always happen around us rather than to us. Whatever the answer may be, I feel guilt constantly. It's just how I've always been. As our fireplace is on, I ask my brother in law if we can turn it off to conserve energy and power for those who don't have it at the moment, as the world gets its shit together. No, it's keeping us warm, he says. We have the heater on and no one's even sitting next to the fire, I respond. Just leave it on, he replies. My sister says, you think others wouldn't do the same? Keep their fireplace on if it was working? I say, of course they would. They would also leave it on. And that's the problem. Now, of course, not everyone is selfish. This world is filled with people delivering food to others, letting people stay over for days, and offering their shower to friends. This world has good people, just not enough of them. When Livia reached out asking if I would write about my experience, I once again felt guilt. I didn't really have an experience. My apartment continues to be without heat and water, and as the families who had nowhere else to suffer go through it, I was 30 miles away, comfortable and happy. Now, of course, I'll help where I can, donate, only buy what I need, offer my sister's home, shower, and food. But overall, what's there to do really for a state that is unprotected, misinformed, unloved, and not supported? I mean, I guess if I was rich enough, I could all book us tickets to Cancun. This world is
Amen.
scary. This world is scary and life is dangerous. Water hydrates us, but also drowns us in our belongings. Fire keeps us warms. Fire keeps us warm, but also burns our homes to the ground. Ice keeps things cool, but also spins our tires out of control. I'm sorry I don't have a story, and I'm sorry, sad, and angry that others do.
Man, a couple things stood out to me as you were reading that.
How great
The
I am
person
of a
who wrote
reader.
this- Yeah, that is top of mind.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
the fact that they had a new puppy,
Mhm.
that must be scary because they're so tiny. How are they
I mean, and
keeping warm? I mean,
and then that brings me to another thought of imagine having a baby. Like how terrifying that
wow,
is. Like just yeah.
that's
But
that's extremely stressful. Oof.
yeah, but I really
Well,
loved this story because I think this is a lot, this is why I wanted to do this, because this is a lot of what people are feeling, where they're like, well, I don't have it as bad, which could be very true, but it doesn't discount what happened. All right, do you want to do the next
yeah.
one?
So our second story is from a listener in Austin. First, my boyfriend's apartment lost power, and then my house did too. There was a part of me that believed the power would be back at any moment, but it didn't. Not for 4 days. It's a long ass time. If you were lucky, you had a vehicle that could drive on snow and ice to get to a grocery or convenience store. And hopefully, there was still something left on the shelves when you got there. We were one of the lucky ones, and we didn't take that for granted. We made sure our friends and neighbors could get what they needed. It's hard to distill this experience into a paragraph, but it's taught me that community is everything. The solidarity and support is what keeps us going, even though none of us knew until when. That's,
Very sweet, very hopeful.
yeah, short and sweet. Um, because, I mean, like you said, all of this just like was thrust upon us.
Yeah.
No warning, kind of. I mean, I don't think anyone thought it was going to get that bad. But a lot of people came together. There's in my apartment complex, there's like disaster relief people, like a company who
Wow.
like specializes in disaster relief for all the water damage. So that's
Mm,
nice to see because it's like they're doing their part, and everyone's doing their part. Everyone, when I
yeah.
did see people outside, they were just like, "You guys okay? Is water like your power is okay? Do you guys need anything?" Besides that guy who was like judging us for putting our groceries, but on the patio.
Well, yeah, and then I also I forgot to mention this. Well, because there's been, I mean, spoiler, there's been some time between the first recording and like what we're doing right now, but between then, I've like I like that this listener was talking about how lucky they feel, because I felt very lucky, very very lucky, because my job actually like they texted me, called me, and slacked me asking if I had water and if I needed it, because
Nice.
they had like a water drive to give
Oh
people, but
wow.
we had some, so I didn't want to like take any more. But
Right.
yeah, I just kept getting like messages and special like, who is that? I'm like, it's my work trying to see if I have water.
Get off my back, bro.
I
That's
think I made
awesome.
that joke and Sebastian's like, well, they're being nice. And I'm like, I know, I'm kidding. And then our apartment complex had a food truck come on like Sunday or something, or no, Saturday.
Kiss asses. I'm just That's
And
awesome.
they donated like some of the meals. They like
Mm,
donated like money to pay for some people's meals, so that was really nice. And
that's
yeah,
awesome.
and I mean, to this day too, because people always say, I mean, they say this when you're grieving, but when like the worst part is when everybody starts to move on. Like it feels like, especially now that I've been in something like this that's happened, it feels like everybody else is just moving on to like their regular
Yeah.
lives. And yeah, and like I feel like we need to take a moment or two. Okay. All right, so our last story is from a listener also in Austin. And here it goes. This past week, I felt utterly abandoned by those who should have been there to protect us. I woke up early Monday morning to my husband throwing an extra pair of clothes at me, saying, "Our power's out, put this on to stay warm." I'm from the north and I know how to layer up. And we did that, or we did what we could with clothes, blankets, candles, and the likes to keep ourselves and our pets warm. Was it cold in Texas? Yes. But it wasn't something we hadn't encountered before when living in every other cold state we had grown up in before. I expected the roads to be bad as this southern state doesn't have the plows and resources to keep roads clear. But how is it a state that tries to flaunt its energy making and power sources left a majority of its citizens in peril within their own homes? Texas leaders have been warned in previous years that rougher winters were coming and that winterization was needed. Instead of admitting their fault for not heeding those warnings, those in power decided to try to play the blame game, all while those they committed to serve suffered without heat, without power, without a stable cell service connection, without water, and some without a ready supply of food. Ted Cruz ran away, privileged enough to have that opportunity to bring himself and his family to a safer and warmer place, avoiding the responsibilities of serving and protecting the citizens of his state. When called out on this, he did return, but not without blaming his daughters for why he left. Blaming others for their own faults is the only way it seems Texas leaders know how to stay in their roles. Well, we shouldn't have lost power at all throughout the state. Colder places keep their power with extremely colder temps. Rolling blackouts seemed like a sacrifice we could make to make sure everyone was taken care of. We could each take a break from power to help our neighbors and vice versa. However, that plan also failed. We were without power and water for 65 plus hours. And that was even shorter than others were without. Sorry, I'm like messing up every word. Homes in Texas are built to combat the major heat waves we get, so when facing cold temps, they were worthless. Texas knew the cold temps were coming, and Texans trusted the government and power companies to take care of them during the cold days ahead, but we were abandoned. Left to fend for ourselves in the cold while those who could have prepared and protected us decided to go on live television to blame others, to run away to the resort vacation, to do everything but take care of their citizens. You can't blame green energy for your failures. You can only blame yourselves. Oh, and did I mention we're still going through a pandemic? If anything was made clear this past week, it's that the current people in place in the Texan government are as faulty and as useless as their disconnected power grid.
Damn. Hitting us with some heat
Listeners
when
said
Texas
what they
needed
said.
it. And that's that on that.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
I think that's a powerful way to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing else to be said, honestly. But thank you to those 3 listeners for sending us your stories. They're very powerful and very important. For us to, I felt very privileged to be able to read them to our listeners, and hopefully, people that weren't in Texas that are listening can have a better understanding of what happened. And if you do feel empowered to do something, there's a ton of links in the description of this episode on, I think I have places to donate to, places to volunteer if you can within Texas, and also stuff to learn more about climate change and how to fight climate change. So shit like this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Right?
And obviously these aren't all the stories. I want to open up our Discord if you feel like you want someone or some people to talk to. I'll be there. Livia will be there. We have a small little community. And we have a Discord bot that I built. So come check it out.
And you can always send more. I don't want this to be the only time people think they can share theirs. If you hear a similar story, or if you want to tell a story that hasn't been told, then you can always send them to us. And I haven't told Anthony this, but we will commit, I'm sure he'll agree, to starting an episode with these. If you want to send them to us. If you send one to us, then we will promise that we will share it on a regular episode.
We'll dissect it, make fun of you, all that. No, I'm just playing. We won't do that. We'll do pretty much exactly what we just did. So
yeah. And I mean, you can always send us whatever you want. If you want to send us what you like about the movies that we choose, if you want to send us stuff that you want to talk about, places to donate that you want to highlight. I feel like that's something we've been wanting to do, and I guess we just haven't Like, this is, I guess, the thing that pushed us to do it. But yeah, just how we'll highlight your movie picks. We also will highlight places that you want to like give to, donate to, volunteer to, give a spotlight to. We're here for that. And not just related to Texas, anything you can think of.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
All right.
brothersistershow.com/contact. Thank you.
Thank you.